whispers are swirling through the paddock. It's done, Hamilton's finished. But let me stop you right there, because if you believe Lewis Hamilton's story ends here, you're not seeing the whole picture. What unfolded in Hungary wasn't the fall of a champion. It was a spotlight exposing the cracks inside Ferrari's armour. Hamilton's fiery radio call, "I'm useless, absolutely useless," wasn't the sound of a broken driver. It was the voice of a legend shackled by a team losing its grip. And behind that frustration lies the real truth. Ferrari's system is buckling, and Hamilton is the one forcing the pressure. Riccardo Adami tried to play firefighter, calmly telling Lewis, "You don't need to push anymore." But no reassurance could hide what was already clear. Ferrari had lost command of the situation. The car refused to answer Hamilton's inputs, the setup let him down, and the silence that followed on the pit wall wasn't calculated strategy. It was uncertainty. Not fear of losing points, but fear of what Hamilton might unleash next. Because history has shown, whenever Lewis breaks in public, he rebuilds stronger in the shadows. Hungary wasn't his exit, it was the ignition of something far more dangerous. A Hamilton ready to fight back. Ferrari might have thought they could mould him, tame him, fold him into their system. Instead, they lit a fire they might not be able to control. And make no mistake, inside Maranello, no one is laughing anymore. What some read as a driver unravelling was actually a reflection of a structure fracturing under its own contradictions. The post-race data painted the ugly truth Ferrari didn't want to leak. Hamilton's throttle response lagged, and his car hemorrhaged stability in corners. He wasn't overdriving, he was wrestling a phantom born from a setup mismatch he'd already flagged during FP3 and got ignored. Meanwhile, Adami, the man once praised for bridging Hamilton and the Ferrari camp, hesitated when Hamilton asked for engine map flexibility to protect tyre life. That pause bled lap time. That silence bled trust. And in Formula One, trust isn't just important, it's oxygen. So when Hamilton muttered, "I'm useless," it wasn't desperation. It was a message, a coded accusation. "You've handed me a weapon that misfires and still expect me to defend your legacy. And not this time, not again." The garage knew it, the engineers knew it, and even Adami, usually the calmest voice in chaos, couldn't pull him back from that edge. Because Hamilton doesn't need sympathy. He needs control. That's what Hungary really revealed. Not a struggling veteran, but a system exposing its flaws. Charles Leclerc quietly salvaged a finish, yes, but Hamilton was left stripped bare, betrayed by calls made far above Adami's headset. Insiders have already confirmed it. A last-minute override on Hamilton's rear suspension, pushed through by Ferrari's technical core, flat out contradicted his feedback. They labelled it optimization. He called it something darker, sabotage. Not openly, not yet. But his tone told the story. His frustration wasn't about pace, it was about being muted. And Adami, he complied. That's the issue. The same engineer who once championed Hamilton's bold setups now treads carefully, balancing politics against performance, choosing moments to speak and moments to stay silent. Ferrari's grand promise of equality shattered on Hungarian asphalt. Every ignored warning, every delayed adjustment, every strategic misstep, Hamilton is stockpiling them as ammunition. He's stopped asking for partnership. Now he's gathering leverage. This didn't begin in Budapest. The seeds were planted earlier in Monaco, in Spa, hidden in subtle radio exchanges where Hamilton asked, and Adami hesitated. But Hungary stripped the mask away. What remained was Ferrari's deepest fear. Hamilton isn't conforming. He's recalibrating. Within Maranello, insiders now whisper about two drivers, two philosophies, two competing futures housed under one roof. One follows the old order, Leclerc. The other rewrites it, Hamilton. And Adami, he's stuck in no man's land. His once unshakable loyalty now under the microscope as briefing rooms split, data is filtered selectively, and choices serve Ferrari's hierarchy instead of pure performance. And Hamilton sees everything. That's why his radio call wasn't emotional weakness. It was a calculated strike. Public pressure on Adami, on Fred Vasseur, on the very core of Ferrari itself. This isn't Hamilton collapsing, this is Hamilton choosing his battlefield. And the Scuderia? They've run out of excuses. The only question left is the most dangerous one. Who does Ferrari truly stand behind? For now, they cling to the illusion of control, but everyone watching knows it's slipping fast. Ferrari wants you to believe everything's calm. Smiles in the press room, unity in the statements, a quiet confidence from Vasseur. But behind closed doors, in the simulator bays, in the debrief rooms, the truth can't be hidden anymore. Lewis Hamilton isn't just another driver adapting to Ferrari. He's dissecting it. And while they try to contain him, every move they make is only strengthening his grip. What Hungary revealed wasn't the end of a chapter. It was the start of a takeover. In those simulator runs, Hamilton's inputs aren't just being logged like routine data. They're being monitored, tracked, dissected. Weeks-old requests about steering feel, throttle mapping, aero balance. They're finally creeping into the car, quietly, without fanfare. Ferrari frames it as progress, but really it's management trying to box him in. Yet here's the twist. In trying to contain the blaze, they're only fanning it. One engineer put it best: Hamilton isn't furious. He's surgical, detached, focused, and that makes him more dangerous, because now every denied adjustment, every delay, every silence on the radio is another brick in the case he's building. He doesn't need to convince reporters or play politics in the media. He's convincing the people who matter most: the mechanics, the analysts, even Adami himself. Piece by piece, Hamilton is transforming from a driver into a faction, a force, and Hungary accelerated that shift. After the race, Lewis called for a private debrief separate from the full team session. Adami joined, not by order, but by choice. That decision was noticed. Some in the garage questioned why telemetry was being separated, why certain data streams weren't shared. The official answer? Operational flexibility. The real answer? Hamilton is carving out his own space inside Ferrari, a space to lead, to question, to challenge traditions that have long gone unchallenged. Even Adami, once neutral, is starting to carry Hamilton's rhythm. In team meetings, he's no longer just relaying information, he's pushing back, defending Hamilton's setups, arguing against the default choices. It's subtle now, but it's spreading. What began as Hamilton being treated like an outsider is shifting toward Hamilton becoming the nucleus of Ferrari's internal gravity. The quiet message is obvious: either evolve with him or risk being left behind. And while all eyes point to 2026, the battle isn't some distant event. It's happening now. Every race, every lap. Zandvoort's prep made it clear Hamilton's simulator spec was prioritized over Leclerc's. That's never happened before. For years, Charles was the reference point. Now, he's reacting, adjusting, even stretching his simulator hours to keep pace. He's taking detailed notes post-sessions, something he never did before. The pressure is showing. Ferrari's core is split. One camp clings to the traditional way: safe setups, predictable tweaks, conservative evolution. The other sees Hamilton's chaos as a weapon, fast, volatile, but maybe the only formula bold enough to crack Red Bull's dominance. And Adami? He's not just observing anymore. He's feeding Hamilton what he needs, piece by piece, to rebuild the car in his own image. Ferrari can dress it up as a dual approach, but the telemetry doesn't lie. One driver is setting the new benchmark, the other is chasing it. And that leaves Ferrari with the question they can't escape: who do they build around? Charles, the golden son of Maranello, polished and fluent in the old language, or Hamilton, the outsider-turned-architect, reshaping their very DNA in real time? Monza looms not just as a homecoming, but as a test of loyalty. Every call on the radio, every pit stop decision, every frame on the broadcast will be dissected for signs of allegiance, because this has gone beyond lap time. It's about identity. That silence in Hungary, that was Ferrari losing its grip on the story. Hamilton isn't waiting for 2026 to settle his future. He's already forcing the conversation now, through results, through data, through whispers in the back rooms. And Adami, the engineer who once tried to calm Hamilton down, is now the one helping him turn the volume up. Ferrari is running out of neutrality and out of time. They must choose: protect the legacy they've nurtured for years, or hand the keys to a champion rewriting the rules from the inside out. The red paint won't cover the cracks forever. The next radio call might be the breaking point. So now it's over to you. Who should Ferrari truly back? Leclerc, the loyal heir raised in red, or Hamilton, the legend rebuilding their identity from within? Let me know in the comments, because this civil war isn't on the horizon. It's already begun.